Welcome everybody to the Culinary Loft. My name's David Jubb. I'm Dr. David Jubb. We're preparing some live food dishes and we're educating some students here today about live food. So we're at the Culinary Loft here in Manhattan on Broadway, 515 Broadway. It's run by Corinne and Robert. And what are we making? We're making a hearty chili. We're making an all-berry pie. We're making a red onion and tomato salad, Greek salad, and we're making stuffed avocados with a spicy ginger sauce. So stay tuned. Coming up, we're going to see some very exciting dishes being prepared. Live food, tasty, fragrant. So stay tuned. The very first thing that we're going to do is to make a pie crust. And the crust of this pie is light. It's light, not very rich, because the pie itself is fairly rich. So you want to make a crust which is a little bit light, because then people are going to feel light after eating it, but they'll feel satiated and feel really good about things. And a small magic ingredient that goes into this crust is sunflower seed, which really does cause it to actually be really light. Okay, so now we need to pit some dates. So we have some. Now this is the one ingredient in the whole of this meal tonight, which really is a tiny little bit of a runaway sugar, typically, right? But yes, it's not really live food, what we call live food, because this is a sugar which is not recognized by the liver. There's very few foods which are not live food, but this is not a live food. Carrot is not a live food. Wheat, corn and rice and potatoes also are not live food because they're missing their life force. These really have very little life force actually. What is the life force in the food? The life force in the food actually is the mineral content of the food. Sugar has to be bound to a mineral, and then the liver is able to recognize this. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring some of this in, but what you might like to do at home is you can have some dried fruit, and you could make this base rather than dates. We could actually make this with other types of dried fruit, which was soaked a little bit. We soak it a little bit, not much water because the sweet would go out of it, but just enough water to hydrate the fruit, that's all. Okay, so let's pit some of these. Corinne?
Excuse me. What can you tell me what is the thing that actually distinguishes what creates a live organism from or food?
Live food.
Versus
okay.
The hybrids that you're talking about.
Okay, so Corinne asks the question: how do we know what has got its life force versus what is dead? Basically, because live food is a finer distinction in the raw food movement. Live food is food which you can find in a semblance of this food growing wild in nature. Cannot find carrots that we're eating growing wild anywhere in the world like that. You cannot find corn growing wild anywhere in the world. You cannot find wheat growing wild anywhere in the world. You cannot find rice growing wild anywhere in the world. Wild rice actually is a grass seed. Actually, that is not a rice. But we can find seeds, but we cannot find any grains. That's a starch. So starchy fruits and starch vegetables are hybridized typically, and they are extremely missing their electric force. And that ravages the body. It is a drug. So banana is a drug. Dates are a drug. Carrot is a drug. And it's not really possible to heal, not really, whilst you eat those foods.
Where do figs stand in this?
Figs are so amazing. What's your name?
Andy.
Andy. Andy asked such a wonderful question. Figs are so amazing. Did you know they have got more estrogen in that than just about anything else if you're looking for hormones? Yeah. But you have to chew those seeds. You've got to grind them. They've got to liquefy them. We should drink everything we chew and chew everything we drink.
So
all right.
So figs and dates are completely different.
Yes. Let's not put all of these in this crust. Let's see. I'm just looking at what is going to be there per person sort of for this crust, and I'm thinking to myself, I want to make sure I have enough protein coming into this to slow the release of this sugar down. So I'm looking to see I want something to stick the crust together a little bit, and I think that probably we can go ahead and put those in the fridge. We can put those pits away now, and we're going to use this, what we have here in this. And basically, we're going to make a nice pie crust in this round dish here. So everything I'm getting is the ingredients for this size. So let's see. So we have this. I have some walnuts here, and this is going to be about the amount of walnuts that we need for this. Plastic bag can go. Let's see, I'm thinking now almonds are a little bit more hard and not so satiating. I want to put some in because they're light and they're going to make the crust a bit lighter, and it is going to bring in some more goodness. These are alkaline forming. So I'm going to look to see, you know, let's see. Probably I'm going to use maybe 2 handfuls like that, I think, in this crust. Just in a water, basically. Okay. So far now what we have is this for the pie crust. Let's see. These have been soaking. These are sunflower seeds. Sunflower seeds are so wonderful for phenylalanine and tryptophan and things like this, which we really need to be relaxed, and we really need these amino acids for good brain function and things. So I'm looking, and this, by the way, is what really makes this pie crust light. Okay, I'm going to put all of them in. All right. Okay. So now, basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these ingredients and I'm going to cut them together. So let's bring the Cuisinart over here. Let's bring the Cuisinart and let's plug the Cuisinart in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a little bit at a time and cut it. And I may as well go ahead and once it's cut and put it straight in there and to work with it. So, you know, you're always thinking about working with the equipment that you have. You want to make sure that what you're putting in and everything into the equipment that you have at home is just what is more or less going to work in the equipment and not labour the equipment. So this is cutting all of this down to make this pie crust. Now actually let's put a tiny little bit of honey in this, and actually do we have a tiny bit of oil, because let's put a little bit of oil and a tiny little bit of honey in this. Also, do we have a little bit of Celtic sea salt? Because we're going to put a tiny bit of Celtic sea salt in, and that helps bind all these ingredients more together, and it helps actually with the digestion, because the Celtic sea salt has magnesium in it, and that is very, very important actually for helping break these down in the upper tummy.
David?
Yep.
There was a question asked earlier. What are potatoes and carrots hybrids of?
Potato, okay. Wild carrot, like Queen Anne's lace, is nothing like the carrot that we're eating that comes from the farmer's field today. Queen Anne's lace looks nothing like, wild carrot looks nothing like the kind of carrot that we eat today. That's been selected over the years, but it doesn't take long actually if somebody has the insight to select a plant for its properties and to continue to select it to eventually to get some quality from it, but taking it out of a niche that it could actually live in nature. Potato, did you say, Corinne, also? Yeah, the wild potato. Right. Potatoes actually, even South America today, most of them also have been cultivated a lot, and they generally, whilst some are a little bit more wild and possibly could perhaps grow wild and may grow wild for some years, eventually they might perhaps peter out basically. The potato that we have here, if you have it in a field, maybe for 1-2 seasons afterward, it's possible to get some potatoes up from it, but eventually those it won't last. They won't last. If you have the very best organic wheat in the world and we found a fertile riverbank and we sprinkle a bushel of it there, and you came back in a year's time, we would not find a blade of it. Not a blade of it would have survived, because it's missing its vital life force.
So it survives when it's given fertilizer and what?
Yes, it can survive if it's looked after, if you know, but otherwise no.
Apples are live.
Apples are live food, yes.
Should we try for one?
Let's see. Do I have a spoon I can just use? I'm just looking to see if this is cut down fine enough for us. This is pretty good. I'll just put a few slithers in.
I've been skinning my apples, no?
Oh, gosh, the skins are so important.
It's a hybrid machine. Little alcohol.
Actually, there's any pieces that are a little bit too big, we can just pull out of this. Let's see. Oh, actually, let's go ahead and put those in there for the next piece. So just so that we can see what's happening here, basically. So this is the crust for this. You maybe hardly ever tasted a crust quite like this, really. Okay. Most grasses, like alfalfa, that's right, is a kind of a honey which has more sucrose in it.
So the orange one is okay, from orange?
Orange blossom.
Yeah, orange blossom is a good one.
Now clover, though, you'd rather.
Clover, yeah, clove's out. Yeah, yeah, it is. It's got more sucrose than really what it should have. Okay, we can clean that.
It's different, totally different color
Yeah,
than the other one.
the bottom has a bit more dates in it.
Oh, it's bizarre.
The crust itself is just delicious by itself.
Yeah. This is something they do for Passover. This, right? Now you can practice your artistic sculpture
Right.
talent.
Yes, because it should look clean and neat. It should look very good. Okay, so I'm going to make a sauce to actually bind things together a little bit. So I may as well go ahead and straight away put this into the Vitamixer. If I could have the Vitamixer over here. We're using everything organic here today. I think most everything is organic. Maybe there's a couple of things that aren't. But we should do everything we can to have organics because there's 80%. That's a lot. There's up to 80% more nutrition in organic produce than commercial produce. If you eat commercial produce, you've lost quite a bit of cell cleansing benefit that can come about because these fruits and vegetables that are grown or in an organic way have the right amount of potassium versus sodium in the fruit. And that's so very important because you need potassium to get on the inside of the cells. Things that are grown organic tend to have more minerals and this sort of a thing because, of course, you know, they're ever considerate of the soil because the plant has to be hardy to survive. Whereas with superphosphates and the nitrates and stuff that's dumped on the soil, it makes the soil chemically addictive to those chemicals, and the natural bacteria and phytoplankton in the soil, which naturally fix nitrogen from the air, and that's the way the plants get it, that all becomes destroyed. And at the present moment, we have depleted 85% of our topsoil in this country already in the last 90 years. We only have 3 inches left, and at the present rate of topsoil depletion, the last remaining 3 inches will be gone by the year 2030. unless we change our ways. Unless we change our ways, all of us. Live food is food which has all of its enzymes intact. It's food which you can find in a semblance of this food growing wild in nature, and live food is prepared in a way that's easy to digest. Now, I want to make a sauce for this to help bind the ingredients I'm putting in here. I've put strawberries in there. Let's get some raisins. Let's put some raisins in here. Raisins. Let's see. Do we have a little cinnamon? Let's put a little cinnamon in this. Now, because we're putting some raisins in here, I'm going to put a little bit of water in here too. We're going to put a little cinnamon in here. Just looking at everything, that's probably about the right amount of cinnamon. It was about a teaspoon. Okay. All right, let's see. Oh, bottled water. Can I have some bottled water? Now, because we want this to remain wonderful, we can always put lemon juice on anything and it will cause everything to really keep its energy. So let's get a lemon. We're going to put a lemon in here. Let me get this one here. And basically, we keep the seeds. The seeds are very, very important, and this makes it more a whole food.
Is the lemon peel good for you also?
In certain kind of fasting that we teach people, we recommend that you keep quite a bit of the white of the lemon, because that makes a modified citrus pectin which blocks neoplastic cells from metastasizing and things like that, and it helps bring enormous amount of nutrients and things into the lymphatic system. Go ahead and put it. There you go. Okay, so now the strawberries that we have here, and I want to grab this one here. So we're going to fill this with strawberries. Okay, so we can really, let's go ahead and really, let's cut these down. You notice that we're not really rinsing this much. No. That's right.
I noticed.
That's absolutely right. We shouldn't. You're not really meant to do that, actually, because there's phytoplankton on the outside of this, and this phytoplankton is very important for naturally stimulating hydrochloric acid. Without the phytoplankton on the outside of the vegetable, people's hydrochloric acid is not as hardy as what it should be.
You can trust that it's there if it's organic.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, yeah. You know, if there's a little grit, you might like to wash that off, but if there's cobwebs and things, whew, gee, that's excellent.
How about pomegranates?
Pomegranates? Oh, pomegranate is my favorite.
Mine too.
Really?
I sit there for hours and take them out.
Are you? Yeah, I do. I'm doing what I call not eating for a living. I've had equivalent of about 5 glasses of juice the last 4 days. That's all I've had.
Oh, you're
And I'm
okay.
doing what I call not eating for a living. I don't drink and I don't eat, basically.
For how long?
I'm moving into my 3rd year of doing this. But we, as a family, fast more people probably now than any other single group in the country today. At any one point in time, there could be some 300 people around the country doing cleanses, doing fasting.
And then can you go to work and everything with it?
Oh, I have more energy than most people do, that's for sure.
When do you eat though?
I don't eat.
You did not eat for 3 years.
Right.
You don't drink?
Wait a minute.
No, I don't drink. I'm doing what I call not eating for a living.
So I don't understand it.
About your intestines?
But you said you've had 4 or 5 glasses of juice.
Right, yes, yes, yes.
So you drink it.
I drink a little, but not much. Very little, very little.
So you,
When you exist more in a dry state, albumin is raised enormously. Albumin is a super transporter in the body, and that transports high energy electrons. The less you eat, the more you become more born of God, basically. Now, once somebody has fasted, and they've fasted for maybe, some 26 years, have been fasting and things like that, and eventually you get to the place where you fast, and you notice that you don't lose any weight, you maintain your weight, and things. Your body is built out of stuff that's good integrity, and only when somebody fasts that you would lose weight. We're losing what is debris in the body typically, and second-hand materials. And then as you fast, you go down to what is the materials of your body that is meant to be there. And then if what's brought in is just a little something that's living, your body will be composed out of materials which has very good integrity. Okay. Okay. All right. That's really good.
okay. I can't imagine not eating. I love
Yes,
eating so
I know.
much.
So be kind and be gentle with this information. I've letting senses go, letting things go about my senses, to go beyond the senses.
So what do you have for pleasure?
Finish with the vibes.
This is divine joy to me,
Yes?
and ecstasy, and like orgasm.
Whoa!
You know,
Wow, that's
living this way. You know. Okay, so before we put the apple on there,
what I
Huh?
just thinking of it in a few
Yeah.
days.
I think I'll try for a day. At a time.
I want to try for a week. Somebody made my juices.
Oh, really? Oh, sure. I gotta wait until I do the work.
I'm just pushing the juice through this a little bit. Now, I'm not going to cover the whole thing. It's nice that you can see some colour showing through of everything a little bit, and everything is done like it is. There could be a few raisins put, perhaps, maybe that we should do, because it will look nice. And this is so incredible. We might just put that in the fridge, because Corinne and others might enjoy that later. But there's, oh really? Because we have a sauce that's left over a little bit.
Well, that can only be used at the body tasting event, which will be tomorrow night. At the drumming circle from 9 to 11. So we'll use that for fingers and body tasting.
So raisins are very good for you.
Yeah, yes. Seeds, raisins that have seeds in it. Seedless raisins are hybrids, and it's missing its minerals, and it sprints right past the liver without the liver recognizing it as a sugar, and that is a major challenge for most people. All right. Okay. So now we can see we have what's called an all-berry pie. And I'm going to put most of the food on the table here, but this one's going to go into the freezer right now to become a bit more solid. Through this food, and this family, and these teachings, we give ourselves strength
We give ourselves strength
to hold ourselves high
to hold ourselves high
in the light that surrounds us.
in the light that surrounds us.
For this is the water
For this is the water
of the spring of life.
of the spring of life.
Amen.
Amen.
Ho! So we're serving this all-berry pie. This could have been in the freezer maybe another 20, 40 minutes, kind of to settle a little bit more, basically. But it's everybody's going to be enjoying this all-berry pie. And I hope you at home, you can get some ideas you'd love to actually make all-berry pie at home. Hi, I hope you really enjoyed this show today at the Culinary Loft here. This is Dr. David Jubb, and I hope you really learned some things about live food nutrition. I really enjoyed preparing this food for everybody. If you're interested to learn some more, it's possible for you to attend a free lecture that we have at 208 West 13th Street. Otherwise, stay tuned to your local cable TV channels for us. We're coming up. Anyway, lots of love and kisses. Be kind and be gentle. Life begets life, and dead begets dead.